And all of us, I think, are familiar with Pastor KWalker, but I don't think that we know too much about Pastor Walker's granddaughter. And he's going to explain her to us this morning when we talk about background, education, and experience. Ms. PShinault, let's start with you by having you to give us some statements in reference to your background, education, and experiences, and take about 3 minutes. And then we'll have Pastor Walker to give us some similar kind of information, and he will also tell us why he is in control this morning of his granddaughter, Bailey. Let's start with you, Dr. PShinault.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say good afternoon, and I'm very happy to be here today. Well, I'm a native of Nashville. I was born and nurtured right here in the Music City. I attended Cameron High School, where I graduated, and from there I attended Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, with a major in psychology and dramatic arts. After which I attended Fisk-Meharry Joint Clinical Psychology Program. Did not complete the program, but earned 36 hours toward my clinical psychology degree. I went on to attend Illinois State University, where I earned my master's degree in education with a specialty in special education. After teaching for a number of years, I decided to go back and get another degree, which is in a doctorate degree in education administration and leadership.
And so in a real sense, you've had an opportunity to live around the Nashville community for a long time and do a lot of things educationally within Nashville. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, indeed. Nashville is my home, and Nashville will always be my home. I have 6 siblings here in Nashville. My mother and father also as well were born and raised in Tennessee and in Davidson County. So very much so. And in the last 5 years since I have returned to Nashville, I have been actively involved in the NAACP. Prior to that, I was the executive director of the Urban League in Illinois. But in the last 5 years, as I said, I have been an active member in the NAACP. I've been chair of the Education Committee. I have also been assistant branch secretary. Currently, I am the branch secretary of the NAACP.
Very good. Pastor Walker, let's have you to give us some information. I think that our audience certainly is familiar with you, but they may not know this young lady that you have with you, and explain not only your background in education, but say something about Bailey.
Okay, Dr. Haynes, well, again, thanks for allowing me to be on your show this morning. My name is Pastor Kelvin L. Walker, born and raised right here in Nashville, Tennessee. I attended the public schools here in Nashville. Pretty much everybody been around know my story, you know, that never didn't complete high school. I actually got kicked out of all the public school systems in the state, in Nashville, Davidson County. But went in the Navy at a young age 17. I went into the military, went into the Navy, and when I got out of the Navy, after serving a short period of time there, then served out the full term of my enlistment there. I was kind of one of those characters back during those times, and got out of the Navy, went through OIC, Opportunities Industrialization Center, and got a GED through there. From there, I went to Tennessee State for a while. All the time I was addicted to drugs, all during that period of time in the Navy, and all through my time at Tennessee State University. I wanted to be a fashion designer, and that didn't pan out either because of my drug addiction. But I come here today, and I got my little granddaughter. This is my granddaughter, Bailey. Bailey's story is unique in and of itself. On March the 24th, 2015, her mother was murdered. My daughter was murdered here in a domestic situation, and we've been taking care of her. My wife and I have been taking care of her, raising her and her brother. She's 3 years old, her brother's 4. And this is my little princess right here. And she's going to grow up to be a powerful young lady. And that's what we're here today to talk about, you know, empowering the Nashville branch of the NAACP so that we can ensure that there's a voice out there for the future of our children. You know, she's important to me, and her and all of my other grandchildren, she's very important. So we got to do that, empower the NAACP so that we can have a voice for the people out here, especially for our youth.
Very good. And of course, what we'll do, Pastor, is to take our first commercial break, and then we'll get back and talk about, with you and Dr. PShinault, talk about some of the aspects of the NAACP. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. second segment, and this is 8-minute segment. And so whatever you want to talk about, this is, you know, I'll introduce the show again, and then we'll, and this 8 minutes, you'll have about 4 minutes, and we'll try to put Pastor, give him 4 minutes, and just start off and take about 3 minutes, and then we'll give him 3 minutes and come back and let him close us out.
Clock. Okay.
No, well, you just
yeah,
just
that's fine.
just okay.
Say it all. Say it all.
Thank you and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. We're talking to Dr. PShinault and Pastor KWalker and his granddaughter, Bailey. And we're talking about empowering the NAACP. And Dr. PShinault, let's see if we can pick up during this second segment to give you an opportunity to say something about the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People that you would like for our audience to know this morning.
Well, after giving such a long or a trail of information regarding my education, I would like to state and really explain why I'm here. Not only to talk about the empowerment of the community, but also to talk with the community about some things that I would like to see happen at the NAACP. I'm currently running for president of the Nashville branch NAACP. Why? Because I would like to see a new image, a new focus in our branch. In terms of empowerment, one of my important platforms is voter registration. I think today, with everything that's happening in the election process, that African Americans, in order to be empowered, need to vote. We have always needed to vote, but it is incumbent upon us today to get the vote out. As president of the Nashville branch NAACP, I plan to have a voter registration program every year and all during the year, because I think that's really important. As well, I have
And so in a real sense, voter registration is one of the most important things that you see. Now, why would you think in terms of enlisting and getting African Americans to vote? Why is that important to you now?
Well, I think it's very important because everything is political. Everything is political, from education to economic development is important, to the quality of health care, to affordable housing. If we are not voting, if we are not at the table, then, as I said, we're on the table. And I believe that voting gives the community power, it empowers us, and it's important that we take a stand, not only verbally, that we also take a stand through the vote.
Pastor, looking at some of the things that you believe, and I know you've been involved with the NAACP for a long time, and some of the things that you believe that we ought to do at this particular point in our history dealing with the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People or any other organization that might be helpful to what we're trying to achieve.
Well, Dr. Haney, I think that when it comes to the NAACP Nashville branch number 5606 here, the most important thing I think that we need to do for the NAACP is to give the NAACP the power that the NAACP is supposed to have in terms of giving the NAACP a voice. You know, just like our vote is our voice, you know, the NAACP for some reason has lost its voice here in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know if it's lost it or if it has been intentionally silenced, you know, by maybe the powers that be. Because as we know that the NAACP as a whole nationally is the oldest civil rights organization in existence in the United States of America. And it's one of the most powerful, or the most powerful one in here. But for some reason here in this Nashville branch, it doesn't have the power. It's like the teeth has been pulled. And when I first initially got involved with the NAACP a few years ago, I got involved because of what I didn't see the NAACP doing. And rather than sitting back and complaining about it like I hear so many others, I decided to get actively involved in the NAACP to try to, you know, make some things happen. You know, of course I got in there and I saw, you know, a lot of things that I didn't like, and a lot of shenanigans and stuff that was going on and stuff, and I really put a kind of bad taste in my mouth. And I kind of backed off of it for a minute because of some of the things I've seen that took place in the last election a couple of years ago with our current administration, Louis Wallace being the president, current president now. And I kind of backed off, you know, but I still believe that the NAACP can be empowered if you got the right people in there that's not afraid to step up and stand out and challenge these different issues. It's so much happening in our community and our society. You know, people are being pushed out of their neighborhood and their community, pushed way out to the outskirts of town, somewhere like the old folks used to say, somewhere out in Plum Nelly somewhere, you know, and there's nobody saying anything, you know, and it's like the community, our community, the black community is like, man, we don't have a voice. Who's gonna speak for us? Who's gonna represent us? So my thing is, let's empower the NAACP, and I think that Dr. PShinault here would make the perfect president of the NAACP's Nashville branch because of the tenacity that I've seen in her, you know, since she's come on board and become a part of the Nashville branch of NAACP. I know her from years ago. I actually went to school with her brother, younger brother and stuff, and we were really good friends throughout the years and stuff like that. And I didn't know at the time that she was as tenacious as she is, but from being in some of the meetings at the executive committee meetings and stuff, and seeing her, you know, push the issues and the things like that, you know, I said, well, you know, when I found out she was running for president, I said, yeah, I'm on board. You know, I really wanted to see that happen. And of course, I'm seeking a position as third vice president of the NAACP because, you know, like I say, somebody got to say something, somebody's got to do something, and apparently what we have there, we got some good people there, but it's everything rises and falls on leadership. And if leadership is weak, if leadership is ineffective, if leadership is disregarding the fact that it is leadership, then leadership needs to be changed. And I think it's time for a change in the leadership of the NAACP so that the NAACP can be empowered and be the NAACP that it's supposed to be and stop playing these games.
Very good. And Dr. PShinault, we've got about